All right, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Arlington Democrats. My apologies, we don't have a microphone tonight because Lover Run lost their microphones, but we're going to make our best of this. And welcome to our July meeting, our first meeting of the Arlington Democrats post-primary. I know a lot of people put a whole lot of work into the primary, so it does feel good to get on the other side of that and focus on November. Please remember to follow all CDC guidelines. And please remember that Arlington Democrats is an open and welcome community. Our purpose is to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. Whoop, go back. Yeah. Elect Democrats up and down the ballot, register voters, and build the party across Arlington. As Democrats, we engage each other with dignity and respect. We work to gain understanding about one another. We exemplify the best of our democratic values to foster equity and unity within our community. We got a pretty light agenda. It's July, so this is our July summer meeting. I know we've got a couple of announcements to make. First one is our second Saturday breakfast this Saturday, July 8th at 9:30. I know Daniel Davis is going to come and talk about the 33rd anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act. Don't miss that. That'll be an exciting and interesting conversation. Starbucks campaign. I think this might be from last month, but if you guys, it's still this month. It's every month, right? Please remember to go to our courthouse Starbucks. It's the one and only Starbucks in Arlington that did unionize. I think only one of the people who helped unionize it is still employed there. So go and support them as much as you can. And I know our communications director, Paul Ruiz, has a brief announcement he'd like to make.
Yeah, hey, what's going on? So we are passing around signatures in the presidential primary for 2024. Yeah, the petition signatures, Mr. Malinowski has them right there. This is
This does not make a vote for Joe Biden, but this does make sure that Joe Biden's name can appear in the March Democratic presidential primary ballot. Please sign if you are a registered Arlington voter.
Thank you. Yeah. If you want to learn a little bit more about just helping us, we're starting obviously with the Democratic committees getting signatures here. But if you want to help out more, go to novoforbiden.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. We're still doing our website survey. If you have not had a chance to participate in that, please do so. How many first-time visitors do we have here tonight? If you could raise your hand. First-time visitors. We've got one over here. Got a second first-time visitor. Third first-time visitor. Thank you all for being here. If I could put you on the spot, what brought you here to Oh, very nice. And lots of roles available within Arlington Democrats. Sarah Lanford can help you become a precinct captain. I know some of our voter support folks need some more help. Our Rise to the Polls group. We just recruited someone from festivals and farmers markets. There's all kinds of jobs within Arlington Democrats. It's a lot of fun work to help elect Democrats all across Arlington and across Virginia. So please be sure to see us before you leave here today. Hey, I know I saw our Senator Barbara Pavola is with us today. And I think Senator Pavola, you had some place to be a little bit later.
Right. May I go first? Are you gonna take the nominee?
We would like for you to come up.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Good evening, Arlington Democrats. Good evening. Let me just say that it is always easier for a political party to come together when elections are based on issues that are really important to the voters. And my opponent, James DeVita, along with the other challengers in this primary, made it possible for our community to engage in a civil way about issues that were important. And I contend that more issues were discussed than would have been discussed had we not had a primary. So thank you to the community leaders who made this dialogue possible and who always presented an objective and nonpartisan approach. Now, it gave me the opportunity as a candidate to tell voters about my record, see what they had to say, get their input on what I should do next. So let me just summarize my highlights. Abortion access. Abortion access was on the top of voters' minds every time we knocked on doors. And I could say that I was a key player in defeating Governor Youngkin's abortion ban, his 15-week abortion ban. Also his, yay. Also his language that would have put providers in jail. And I myself introduced an amendment that would have protected menstrual health data from law enforcement. In other words, it prohibited the use of a search warrant and accessing menstrual health data that was kept on apps. And Governor Youngkin was very proud to oppose my bill, but what it did was really show in shining colors just how extreme he really is. We were talking about menstrual health data and privacy. I will continue to fight for the dignity and equality of women and everybody, especially when it comes to the access of healthcare. Preventing domestic abuse and gun safety, Arlingtonians want to be safe. They want the freedom and liberty to go to a movie theater, to go shopping, to have that sense of safety when their children go to school. I was successful in removing firearms from those convicted of assault and battery of a household member, but more needs to be done. And I will sponsor an assault weapons ban and also legislation that will outlaw ghost guns. And we will try once again. We will try once again to opt for state safe storage of firearms. It'll be a challenge, even though the NRA did support that bill, we could not get it passed a Republican House of Delegates. So we have more work to do. In public education, I advocated for increases in school funding and I helped raise teacher pay, and I was the chief sponsor of legislation that brought more mental health workers into our school system. I've been a strong advocate in protecting the environment. I was the chief patron of the Commonwealth Energy Plan, and this effort resulted actually in coal plants closing, growth in renewable energy sources, and passage of electric vehicle standards. We made progress, and we fought hard to keep that progress because Governor Youngkin and the Republicans in the House of Delegates tried to roll back everything we had accomplished when it came to protecting the environment. Elections matter. So let's be clear, as we move forward with our elections in 2023, I can assure you that cultural wars will be the cornerstone of the debate. We suffered through legislation about banning books, outing our transgender youth, and setting up a tip line to report on teachers. These policies really were a recipe for undermining our representative form of government. And I believe they undermined our principles of our Constitution. This is our time. We have to stand up and we have to work hard for this election. We do have a blue wall in the state Senate. It needs to be bolstered in a big way. So that means we need to reelect more Democrats to the state Senate, right? And I know that every one of you will earn the right to put another brick in that blue wall. We also have the House of Delegates. I know my colleagues, some of my colleagues do have opponents in the general election. And we have to help the House of Delegates flip because it takes both chambers to pass legislation. And I know Governor Youngkin will still be governor, but if the Democrats control both chambers, we will be able to show the distinctions very clearly. We'll be able to pass legislation that he will have to decide whether to veto or sign. This will put us in a good position in 2025. Finally, I want to thank the Democratic Committee and our committee leaders because you gave every candidate a voice in this last primary. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my own team, which was led by Warren Breseth. Warren, thank you. And all the interns and volunteers. All the interns and volunteers that helped Team Pavola secure a squeaky margin. Not really. It was 84%. Elections are about values and the policies, abilities, and perspectives necessary to make those values a reality. I am confident that our Arlington ticket has that winning combination. I look forward to leading the Arlington ticket to victory this November. I also look forward to leading the Arlington ticket and beyond Arlington and helping us do that heavy lifting we have to do to secure control of the House of Delegates and to bolster the state Senate. Thank you.
All right. From Arlington's 3rd House District, let's welcome up Delegate Alfonso Lopez.
There. Thank you. Let me just echo a lot of what Barbara said, but most importantly, ask you a favor. Because we need Arlington's help. We're 3 seats away from flipping the House of Delegates. 3 seats. What does that mean? That means we don't have to play defense. We don't have to beg this governor to do the right thing. Because as we've seen, he has a problem doing the right thing. How many times do we have to see these documents from his administration that are in the executive summary, fluff, birds, clouds, rainbows, and then page 17, page 29, page 58, 117, he's gutting everything when it comes to the environment and renewable energy, the social safety net. And when it comes to what he's committed to do publicly, repeatedly, when we're talking about abortion access in Virginia. It's ugly what happens sometimes when you have someone who's running for national office and sort of forgets that he's here to govern Virginia. When he does everything specifically to make himself look a little bit better for a national office. A couple examples. Ford Motor Company All-American Ford Motor Company is going to bring 2,500 jobs and billions of dollars of investment to Southside and Southwest Virginia. Governor Youngkin in January turned that deal down because of Ford Motor Company's close connection to the Communist National Party in China. Ford. Let me repeat that, Ford Motor Company. But also let me repeat, billions of dollars of investment and 2,500 jobs in a part of the Commonwealth of Virginia in desperate need of economic development dollars. Doing that just so that maybe you get a point more in a national poll, and maybe, hopefully, DeSantis or Trump will choose you as your vice presidential candidate. That's ugly. That's wrong. And that's not who he should be as the governor of Virginia. You guys get it. Every single one of you get it. Every single one of you fight for our shared values. I'm so proud to be an Arlington Democrat. I've been an Arlington Democrat since the late 90s. And I've been a Virginia Democrat, goodness, since way before I was a young Democrat in Arlington. And to see how far we've come as a Commonwealth in just 50 years, it's amazing. But you and I know how tenuous a lot of this is, how tenuous some of this can be if we don't win elections and get people elected who share our values about a brighter future that's welcoming, that appeals to the highest ideals of what our founders talked about, as opposed to wallowing in fear and fear-mongering and hatred of the other. In 2023, and we're going to see a lot of it over the next few months, and it's going to get sad because it's not who we are. It's not who we should be. I want a Virginia that reflects our values, and you get it. I can't thank you enough for your support of me and Barbara and Adele and Patrick and Adam and all of the folks that you're going to get help elected in every corner of the Commonwealth, because it's so vitally important. The governor is 2 votes away in the Senate from having a trifecta. And then everything that we fought for and we accomplished when it comes to sensible gun violence prevention and right to labor policies and renewable energy and environmental protection and a woman's right to choose, getting rid of all the trap laws, it'll be all on the table again. So who's with me? Who's going to fight?
Who's with me? Who's gonna fight? Let's do it, Arlington. You guys are amazing.
All right, from Arlington's 1st district, let's welcome up Adele McClure.
Good evening. So I'm so excited to be with you all. My name is Adele McClure. I'm from the Arlington's newly drawn 2nd House District. So I'm so proud to be your Democratic nominee. Please give it up for a new district in Arlington. So for those of you who need a little bit of a refresher, Arlington's new 2nd District encompasses part of Ballston, Clarendon, Courthouse, Roslyn, Pentagon City, and Crystal City. So there's a lot of folks there that's very transient, and I'm so excited to knock on all the doors, meet all the folks, and talk to all the people in the district to talk about what we're going to bring to the House of Delegates next year. So I'm really excited. And I also wanted to congratulate every single nominee here, all of the candidates who ran and participated in the primary, because I know firsthand after running for 18 months that running is not easy. So I commend all of you for taking that tough step and running for something. So please give them a hand. And in addition to thanking my team, I would be remiss if I don't thank every single one of you for all of your hard work, all of your dedication, all of your commitment to all of the candidates in the primary and helping to make sure that we have protected democracy when it comes to our elections. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all. And it is now more important than ever to harness and take that same energy and apply that and carry that into November. We have to come together and unite. The GOP, as you've heard, is working to strip away so many of our rights, and we must fight back. We must take back the House of Delegates because lives depend on it. And as Delegate Alfonso Lopez said, we are only a few seats away from taking back the majority in the House of Delegates. And 100 seats in the House of Delegates are up for re-election. And Republicans currently control the House with a very slim majority, so we can do it. The stakes are high and we can't stop now. I know everybody is feeling burnt out, but we have to keep back that energy up. We must keep fighting. We must keep knocking doors. We must keep making phone calls. We must keep donating, right? Keep raising money. And we must keep supporting Dems up and down the ballot. It's so important. And I cannot stress that enough. Folks have told you what's on the ballot, abortion's on the ballot, making sure that we are preventing gun violence prevention in our communities, mental health, access to childcare. Literally every single thing is on the ballot. So we need to make sure we keep our energy up. So I am committed, and I promise that I'm committed to working with each and every one of you to unify and elect Democrats, take back the House, hold strong on the Senate, and fight back every single time they come back at us trying to take back our rights. So let's do this, y'all. I'm so excited. And let's keep going. November is right around the corner.
All right, and special shout out to Kevin Cicero Broach, who was in this race briefly. He withdrew before voting ended, but has worked really hard as a legislative aide for Alfonso Lopez, has worked hard for our Equality Caucus and Latino Caucus over the years. So really appreciate him stepping up and running as well. I think we're going to go to County Board next, and I see Maureen Coffey with us. Let's welcome up.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. First and foremost, thank you all so much. Thank you to Steve and the committee. I know that the last 6 months have been exhausting, whichever candidate you have been behind, and truly the trust and belief, and those of you who took a risk supporting me from the beginning or who jumped on board throughout the last 6 months. It's pretty incredible. I'm so excited, and I also have to give a shout out to Sarah Florence and Kip Malinowski. They are not unknown amongst this group, but I think that it cannot be overstated how hard they work in everything they do to elect Democrats here in Arlington. I'm really excited to move into the general election, and yes, we do have a general election this year. There are 2 candidates that are going to be on the ballot alongside Susan and myself, and we have to work just as hard. We have to continue reaching out to people. Arlington is an exceptional place to live. I love it here so much, but we do have to bring more folks into this fold. I got my start in the Arlington Young Democrats, which is an incredible group. And we know that there is so much more outreach that we can be doing. I will be the youngest person ever elected to the county board if I do win. As well as, I believe, the first renter we have ever elected to the county. In a county like Arlington, those two identities are so important. We are 61% renters and our median age is 35. We need to bring those people into civic engagement, into the conversation, because we are going through different things at different points of our lives. And the county needs to be making decisions that support everyone across the whole life cycle so that we have plans and a future here in Arlington County. We are an exceptional place. We should keep exceptional people here with us. And make sure that we're expanding the tent, doing all of the work. I've been to all of the JCC events for the last 5 or so years, and I'm excited to participate in a new fashion this year. We're all going to work really hard. I'm just so grateful to this group, to this community, and I really look forward to working with everyone on the ballot, including my co-pilot here, Susan. And with that, I will pass it over to you.
Great. Well, thank you all. And I'm Susan Cunningham. I'm super excited to be here with you all. And thank you for inviting me in and excited to have a unity time. We get to do it twice for the county board, which I think is great. But I'm just thrilled to be one of your nominees. Maureen and I are so excited to be entering this chapter of the general election. We do have a little bit of a general election, so don't fall asleep at the wheel. We've got a lot of stuff downstate to do, but we also need to stay focused here at home. Everyone here knows the incredible amount of work that goes into any campaign and every campaign. And I just have to say thank you so much to all of our community members. Many of them are here in this room. Many could not be here tonight, but on our team, on the other teams, and especially to the other candidates, it is truly a lot of work, and the more local, the more work somehow. But really excited to see the energy and to have all of the bonding time in our 9,763 minutes of forum time. And I've learned so much already and really looking forward to continuing to learn and to continuing to help our community thrive as one community, as one Arlington. So I won't take up too much time. I know we've got lots of nominees today, but I just do want to say I am thrilled to be with you and with our local Democratic Party, bringing our democratic values to life here at the front lines at home. I was 18 when I registered in a very big R Republican county as a little but big D nominee. I was on the wrong list. They kept shuffling. They're like, "You're not on the list, Susan. You're not on the list." But really glad to be able to continue that work and the work of my whole career so far, and with my family to support the democratic values here in Arlington. And I think I get to give it back to Steve Baker.
All right, congratulations to both our county board nominees. Susan was correct. Let me see if I can, nope, not that way. No. There is going to be another unity event. Jay Facette has offered his and Bob's lovely home for an event, which I believe is going to be on August 6th. So mark your calendars for that. Hope to have all of our county board candidates there. The proceeds will be a low dollar fundraiser, and the proceeds will be split between our two nominees. I do want to take a point of privilege and thank all the people that ran for county board. As everybody knows, we had 6 really great candidates in this race. My very good friend, JD Spain, Tony Weaver, Natalie Roy, Jonathan Dromgoole. Am I missing? Is that it, right? Each of them either has been an enormous presence in our community or enormous presence with this committee and done a lot of work, and each one of them deserved the opportunity to be a nominee. But you know, as elections work out, we have 2 nominees, and we're very fortunate for them. But do want to just take a moment and thank all the folks that ran. Let's see, we're going next to, that was county board, so we're going to go to our constitutional offices. And I guess first we will welcome up our Sheriff, Jose Quiros.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Great to see you all. I'm happy to say that with your support, I will continue serving as the first Latino sheriff in Arlington County. As a son of Honduran immigrants, I never thought someone like me could be in a position like this. I'm beyond grateful and thankful to my family, my beautiful wife here tonight, my staff, and the many Arlingtonians who have helped me on this journey so far. Without all of you, I would not be here tonight, so I owe you my success and a lot more. I want to thank my opponents, James Herring and Wanda Younger, and hope that they will continue supporting the Sheriff's Office and all the work we do to ensure that all the people in our care are provided the appropriate support to be rehabilitated and to return to the community as healthy and productive residents. I am excited to continue as Sheriff of Arlington County. I care deeply about the people in my care, the residents of the jail, my staff, and the entire Arlington community. As Sheriff, I will do what I can to keep our Sheriff's Office moving forward and help our county progress. Sorry about that. Although the primary campaign has come to an end, my feet are very thankful for that from walking all these there. We are not done with reaching voters. I look forward to working with the Arlington Democrats and helping elect all Democrats this November in our county. I encourage you all to join me in campaigning with the Democratic Party for the general election, whether it's here in Arlington or in outside areas in the redder parts of our Commonwealth, because fighting for change and progress is extremely important. Thank you again to everyone who helped me get here tonight and to the voters who participated in this election. I am a man of the people, so I will stick to my campaign promises and much more. Please reach out to me in the Sheriff's Office if you need any help or if you have any ideas or suggestions, or if you'd like to volunteer with the Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose, and congratulations. And just want to give a big shout out to our two other candidates. I really appreciated the opportunity of getting to know Wanda Younger over the first half of this year. She's just deeply committed and passionate about her ideas of criminal justice reform. I know Wanda's going to stay really active with the NAACP and in our community, and it was just a terrific opportunity to get to know her and work with her first part of this year. And also to our good friend James Herring, who did a phenomenal job. James, I know we all feel fortunate for the opportunity of having met you, and just based on the race, we know you're going to go far and do a lot for this community. So please stick around, and thanks again for running. Thank you. See, we had one other constitutional office that was contested, and so at this time, I would love to welcome up Arlington's Commonwealth's Attorney, Parissa De.
Hi, friends. I'm Parissa De, your Commonwealth's Attorney. Thank you for being here. I'd like to add my voice in congratulating Senator Barbara Pavola on her decisive win. Unless I'm mistaken, I think that you again received the most votes out of anybody in the General Assembly. In a primary. Congratulations to future delegate. Adele McClure on her historic win. Adele. Adele accomplished a series of firsts. She's the first delegate of a new district in Arlington. She's the first Black woman and first Asian woman to represent Arlington in the General Assembly. Congratulations to our current and future Sheriff, Jose Quiros. I know from personal experience that your job is not an easy one. Congratulations to Maureen Coffey and Susan Cunningham, our future board members who pledged to bring the community together, and I really appreciate you for that. And of course, I am very excited to share the ballot with my good friend, Paul Ferguson, who works with me every day. As well as Alfonso, Patrick, Carla, Kim, and Adam. It's fitting that the theme of this evening is unity, but it could just as well be humility. Because the one thing that running for office teaches you more than anything else is humility. You can't help but experience humility when you realize that what makes us a community, a beloved community, is not our elected officers, it's not our property values, or any number of the tangible things we can point at. We are who we are because you in this room and countless others who aren't here and couldn't be here, give of your time, your effort, your money, and yourselves in countless ways every day to make us who we are. So let me say with all sincerity that it isn't just joy that I feel tonight. It isn't just unity that I feel tonight, but above all, it's humility. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Parissa, and we're all excited to work hard to re-elect you in November, which we know will happen. And we'll give a special shout out to our friend Josh Katcher, who I know also worked really hard and has been a precinct captain for many, many years with Arlington Democrats. So appreciate him as well. And I think I failed to give our other precinct captain, James DeVita, a shout out at the beginning. James, thank you as well. Now let's go to Clerk of the Court, Paul Ferguson.
8 more years. 8 more years.
Thank you, Steve. This is an unexpected privilege. I thought it was only people that had a primary campaign got to speak, but I'm going to accept the opportunity gratefully. This will be the 6th time that I've had the honor of being a Democratic nominee. This will be the 3rd time as clerk of the circuit court. And of course, I got to be the Democratic nominee 3 times as a county board member. And I can honestly tell you that I am just as excited today, maybe even more so, than I was back in 1995 during that first campaign. And the reason why is because of the people that are on the ticket. I am fortunate not to have an opponent, so the 8 more years is likely, Bob, but there's always a write-in possibility. I am pledged to do everything I can to assist this ticket, and anytime they will let me be along with you and come to debates, I will be there, and I've got your back, and I'm really looking forward to November.
Now, candidate for Commissioner of the Revenue, Kim Klingler.
Oh, man, I'm short. Good evening, Arlington Democrats. Good evening. I know I gotta stand in front of this thing, but there's a mic here. Oh, and a camera. Oh, okay. I am honored and humbled to stand before you this evening. My journey began with all of you in 2007 as an Arlington Young Democrat. I'd like to believe that's Carolyn Arlington, Young Democrat. Would you guys give me that? Yes? Thank you, thank you. And it's amazing how things change. And I look around this room and I see so many friends and mentors who have helped me along the way. Thank you. 6 years ago, I ran for county board and I was up here under different circumstances. I was up here congratulating Eric Gutschall and really congratulating him on being the nominee. So let's give a quick moment of silence for our friend Eric. Thank you. I stand here today as your nominee for Commissioner of Revenue, and I couldn't be more excited. I also want to say that one of my goals as Commissioner of Revenue is to make sure you know what my job is, so you can hold me accountable. I wish Carla was here today, but the Treasurer's Office, their job is to collect. The Commissioner's Office, their job is to assess how much do businesses owe, how much do you owe for your car, and to give out all business licenses and to make it easier to do business in Arlington County. In Arlington County, over 90% of our businesses are small businesses. And I want to make sure that we help them and we help Arlington thrive. We are such a diverse place. We are such a caring community. Look around, look at this building. Everybody just take it in for a moment. Why do we have this building? Because of our revenue. And it's not just about money, it's about our values. We put our money where our mouth is, for our schools, for our parks, to really make sure that we have a wonderful place to live. So I want to thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity to serve you. And I also want to thank Steve Baker, because I don't think he gets enough love. Steve, thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you, Kim. And so our two nominees who are not here tonight, I guess Delegate Patrick Hope and Treasurer Carla De La Pava. Big round of applause for enough with the nominees. We do have an endorsee for school board, and I'd love to welcome up just for a brief word, Miranda Turner. Come on up, Miranda.
Did you? I think he almost forgot me. No. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for this event. It's really a nice gesture. I am really proud of being the endorsee for the school board nomination and race in the fall. Recently, the opponent who was going to be on the ballot in the fall has withdrawn, so I will be unopposed in the fall. And I am looking forward to helping elect everyone who is successful in this primary. And as everyone has said, it was an incredibly strong primary. All of the candidates really brought a ton to the table, to the many, many forums. They worked really hard. And I think that it was really good for the voters, really good for Arlington. I also want to acknowledge Angelo Kashiro for running. I know how to pronounce his name correctly after all of our forums. As everybody knows, it takes a lot to run, it takes a lot of work, and I think it's really impressive when some folks who are younger, much younger than me, have the poise and the willingness and the ability to step forward. And I think that it shows a lot of the spirit of the Young Dems in this room, who are some of our strongest volunteers and who are filling up my social calendar for July. So thank you for that. So I may not have many more speeches to give if I'm unopposed in the fall, so you might get one tonight. I just want to introduce myself again. I live in South Arlington, south of Columbia Pike. I have 3 kids in APS, a rising middle schooler, 2 elementary kids. APS is a great school system. It has been so supportive of my kids. Their teachers have supported them on their bad days, helped with their behavioral challenges, taught them math. I would pay $1 million if I never had to go over math problems with my 5th grader again. They are worth every penny. They work really hard, and our students are thriving. But it is important that we acknowledge that there are some students who do need more. We are in our 2nd or 3rd year running where 20% of our 5th graders who are moving to 6th grade are not reading on grade level. We are in a school system where upwards of 1/3 of our students are English learners, and we have a strategic plan that has identified that our English language curriculum is not as rigorous for those students as it is for native English speakers. We have a lot of students with disabilities who are not getting the same services that they're entitled to and the same level of education. This is the way in Arlington schools that we can advance our progressive values. We identify the kids who need more and we give it to them. And that is what I want to focus on if I am elected in November. And I appreciate all of your support. Thank you.
All right, congratulations to our 2023 nominees and endorsees. Let's see. Congratulations all. You guys remember ranked choice voting? That was couldn't help but get a screenshot of that. I did send around a survey to the committee couple weeks ago from the county board on how everyone felt about ranked choice voting. So I hope people had an opportunity to fill that out. And if you didn't, I'm sure there will be additional opportunity to let the county board know. Oh, there we go. There's our August 6th Unity event for county board. And our joint campaign committee for this year, I just will announce is Christina Diaz Torres, Yent Mew, okay, Kenya Pennington, and Sarah Florence. We are really excited to have such a capable group of people. We are going to have conversations in Arlington. There are a lot of conversations that are important to have this year. So we will have a field program. We will be out there talking to voters. And then we will be supporting as much as possible our Beyond Arlington program to make sure we take back the House of Delegates. So that's our focus for 2023. And next up for a joint campaign, it's that time of year where we do the envelopes for Dollars for Dems. And I'm just going to welcome up Carol Burnett to tell us more about it.
They didn't tell me I had to speak if I took this on, so we'll see if I have a good difference. What I need is about 8 more volunteers who will take a stack of envelopes and a mailing list and hand address them and put on return labels and bring them back to the August meeting or deliver them to 2 locations that we have around town. This, the Dollars for Dems is one of our major fundraisers. We're mailing to 1,538 people who have donated in the last 5 years to Arlington Dems. For 15 lists, there are 100 names per list. You can pick up a list tonight. I've got half of them given out already, but I still need 8 more people. Here's just a little background to show you what's happened in the past. And as you can see, 2019 was the last time where we were only Virginia House and Senate. And so that'll be what we have this year. And it's usually not our best year. So we really need help this year in getting this out. And if you're somebody who in September, you come to this meeting and you didn't get this in the mailing at home, then we'll give you a form that night so you can donate, okay? This is what some of the money goes to. That Dollars for Dems supports is essentially the joint campaign and something like door hangers, $3,200, yard signs that we put out for the joint campaign, the lovely messengers, and those sample ballots that are so crucial to getting us all elected. So you can see that all of that comes up to over $20,000. And so we really need everybody's help in this. That's it. Bye.
Thank you so much, Carol, for all you do. A joint campaign really operates on maybe 3 funding streams. There are candidate contributions, there are gold card events, and then the Dollars for Dems is a really big part of that. And that's entirely run by Carol, so was not a part of joint campaign, but is definitely a huge part of the committee's budget. Absolutely. On Gold Card, I know we were almost ready to launch our Gold Card page on the website. So look forward to that coming up really soon. And thank you. Thank you, joint campaign. All right, now I'm going to welcome up Sarah Lanford with Precinct Operations.
Okay, who is excited to elect all of the candidates we've heard from this evening? That is our job in precinct ops. It's to get a clean sweep in November. We have 13 candidates on the ballot. That's a lot. It's going to require a lot of effort, especially because it's our off year election. But as we know in Arlington, we never have an off year. We're always going really hard to make sure that we get the folks elected that we need to get elected. And that means we've already started planning for November. I sent my first email to my lovely JCC friends earlier this week. And that's because we are aiming to get the messenger out the door in mid-September, right before the first day of early voting, so that voters can have that information for as much time as possible before they head to the polls. And then, of course, we will be doing poll greeting all day on November 7th at every one of our 54 precincts across the county, from 30 minutes before the polls open at 5:30 in the morning until the last voter votes after 7 p.m. So that requires over 700 volunteers. If it's something you know you want to be a part of, pencil that date in right now. You can do it for 2 hours. You can do it for the whole day. We will love to have you there because it requires a lot of members. Sorry. And then we're also, like I said, doing the messenger. That requires about 400 volunteers, our second biggest volunteer effort. Super easy volunteer job, especially if you don't like talking to people. You can put in your favorite podcast, walk around, take some steps, and that's kind of a more do-it-your-own pace situation. So 2 huge opportunities, and be on the lookout from an email from me, from Fran, or from any of your precinct captains about how you can volunteer with those efforts. And then, of course, if you are new tonight, I know I've seen some new people here. Precinct ops, I'm a little biased, but I think it's the easiest way to get involved in Arlington DIMS. Raise your hand if you're a precinct captain or part of precinct ops in the room. Amazing. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. There are a lot of great work, and we'd love to always have more. So come find me. I'm in this purple vote shirt if you want to get involved. Finally, our precinct ops member of the month, and I don't think I've seen him here, but it's Stuart Scott. Big hand for Stuart Scott in Crystal City. Stuart lives in a super MUB heavy community, MUB meaning multi-unit buildings, but he does a lot of work to kind of bring people into the conversation. And he makes my job really easy, especially when he goes on vacation and lines up all of his volunteers in advance. So huge congrats to Stuart for that. And I did just want to invite up shortly one of our youngest volunteers we've ever had in precinct ops, Anant, who is a high school junior, who we asked to do a data collection project for us, data analysis project. I wanted precinct level data about turnout and vote share. And he said, I can just code that. It'll be super easy. And it's the first time in my life I've ever felt really old. So he did a great job, and he's going to share some really interesting findings with y'all. So I'm going to welcome up Anant.
Yeah, so for the last couple months, as Ms. Lanford said, I've been analyzing voting data on the precinct level for Arlington County and had some findings. I'm going to okay. So the first thing I did was I created these information sheets. These have really three components to them. So first, they have a table with a lot of data on them. The year of the election, who's running in the election, what type of election it is, as well as turnout numbers, and how many people voted for Democrats. So it just gives you all the information about what is happening in each one of these precincts. And then the other 2 components were graphs of that same data. So the next component is a graph of voter registration over time. So you can see really clearly how voter registration has been changing. And then the second graph beneath that is a graph of turnout and percent Democrat in that specific precinct. So it also shows that with respect to the overall county. So it shows you how your precinct is performing and how that precinct is doing with respect to the entire county. It's just a really easy visualization there. And this right here is an example of that table. So I made these really quickly using some code, Python specifically. Right now on the Virginia County website, there is voting data and electoral data for each precinct. So we have to pull all that up. There's also voter registration data for each precinct currently. So you just go through and you find those numbers and the correct ones. One thing that's really important to note here is that we had to use extrapolation in order to get the full results. So right now, as I'm sure you know, there's a lot of absentee ballots. You know, for example, in 2020, I think like 70% of the ballots were absentee because of COVID. But the problem there was that those are recorded at the county level, but not at the precinct level. But however, in 2022, we saw them get their act together and they started recording it also at the precinct level. So we used the 2022 results to extrapolate for the rest of the time. So of course, this can have some numerical inconsistencies, have some mistakes, but overall, it should still be pretty accuracy. It should still be pretty accurate. But just for your information, in case you see any sort of mistake, inaccuracy, anything like that, it's probably because of that extrapolation that I had to do in order to get accurate data. Okay, so then the second part of this project is that I wanted to go a bit further and look at demographics in Arlington and how they affect voting patterns, voter turnout, and percent Democratic in each precinct. So I used data from the American Community Survey, which gives you by zip code demographics such as income, race, age, etc. by zip code. I also use the same voting data that I mentioned before, and then I combine these two in order to actually analyze the data. So of course I had to map zip codes to precincts, and I had Ms. Jackson's help with that to find which precincts were in each zip code, and then after that it was pretty simple to just run correlations between each variable. So we tested 5 variables: income, race, education level, unemployment, and age. And we chose these because these were the primary variables that we thought would have a significant impact, and these are the main variables in the aforementioned Arlington Community Survey. Okay, so at surface level, with each of these variables, what we saw is that when you have a zip code with higher income, you saw more turnout, but less people voting Democrat, which confirms a lot of conventional wisdom. With higher racial diversity, you saw less turnout, but more Democratic voting with a pretty small correlation there. What was interesting is that I saw almost no significant relation between education level and turnout or voting patterns. So the quantity of the number of people who are educated in each zip code has a very minimal effect there, almost unnoticeable, and probably due to random chance. Next, I saw that higher unemployment can lead to less turnout, but also more people voting Democrat. And similar to income, higher age is associated with more turnout, but less Democratic voting. So that's just a really basic analysis comparing each variable. So then I did a more in-depth analysis because I wanted to go a bit further, draw some real conclusions here. So the first thing I noticed was that a lot of the variables were cross-correlated. So for example, age and income are going to have a very strong correlation to each other, because as you grow older, you get more promotions, you invest more, etc. So you're going to have more wealth and more income. And as it turns out, affluency, as quantified by median income, explains most of the variation in turnout. 85% of the variation in turnout is explained by the income of that zip code. That shows that income is a pretty strong determinant there. And as I said before, affluent areas are going to have more turnout, but less people voting Democrat. But on these two graphs specifically, you can see that the effective median income on voting for Democrats, the correlation there is pretty small. And then another really important thing is that the scale on the graph is from 75% to 81%. So it's only a 6% difference between the bottom zip code for voting for Democrats and the top zip code for voting for Democrats. So it's very small. And again, the correlation isn't that significant. But look at this turnout graph over here, and you notice that the scale goes from 48% to nearly 72%. That's a lot of variation by zip code in terms of voter turnout. And as you can see, the correlation is very strong on that graph. So turnout is a much larger determinant here that we should be focusing on more. So again, the difference between the bottom voting zip code in terms of people voting for Democrats and the top is just 6%, but for turnout, it is 20%. And also that correlation is much stronger for turnout. So based on the data, I can conclude that we should be focusing on less affluent areas and specifically on increasing turnout, because no matter what, you're going to get 75% plus of people voting for Democrats, but turnout, you only have, at minimum 50%. So it's really important to increase turnout, specifically in lower income areas. Any questions? It's in the voting data, it polls by like how many people vote for each candidate. So if the candidate was a Democrat or a Republican, then you can tell how many people in that specific election voted Democrat or Republican. So in the data, right? The data, what it records is in each election, how many people voted for each candidate. So in the last election, you had candidate A and B, one's a Democrat, one's a Republican. I saw that 1,000 people voted for the Democrat, 500 people voted for the Republican. Then I conclude that in that specific election, 66% voted Democrat.
I think it's also in the primary. How do you vote? Yeah, it's a good point. Any other questions? I will say these individual precinct level data sheets are available for precinct captains to use in your precinct folders. And I really encourage precinct captains to take a look at those to make some goals, right? For how many people do you want to turn out in your precinct based on the last time we had a similar election, which was in 2019, or how much do you want to increase the Democratic vote share by? So that's kind of what we're hoping you can do with these. And they have, like I said, the past 6 years of voting data, so you don't have to compare it to the last time there was a president on the ballot, because that's going to look a lot different than what we're facing this year. But huge hand for Anant, he did a lot of work for it.
Thank you, Anand, for that phenomenal report. Arlington Democrats love data, so keep coming back. All right, let's see. Let's welcome up Arlington Young Democrat.
All right. Looks like Young Dems are getting it done here in Arlington. For those who don't know me, my name is Brian Atkins. I am the Arlington Young Democrats Party rep. And for those who don't know,
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tenley O'Hara, and I am the Arlington Young Dems president.
Yep. And for those who don't know about Arlington Young Dems, we are the youth component of the Arlington Democrats up into the age of 36. We are a robust group of people. We are renters mainly, but we also have some homeowners in our group. We're young professionals. We work a variety of jobs. So this is a great community for young Democrats to get involved with. We have plenty of opportunities for you to grow and to, go wherever you please within the party. As you can see, we have a couple of candidates who are the nominees who are current Young Democrats. And then one nominee, who was a former Young Dem who's running for Commissioner of Revenue. So if you're interested to learn more about Arlington Young Dems and how they get involved, please see me or Tenley. And we'll also have some events that you can come to later this month.
Oh, wait, we not have our next slide. There we go. There we go.
So for June, we had a fairly busy month. We first attended the Capitol Pride Parade in DC, and then several of our AYD members went to Las Vegas for the biannual convention for Young Democrats of America, where we elected our leadership and set our policy agenda for the next 2 years. And then we had a primary watch party with Arlington Dems. And then we attended the Women's March to mark the 1-year anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And then we closed out the month at our very well-attended Pride Month of Freddy's, which is our local LGBTQ bar down in the Crystal City area. And then coming up.
Sorry, there we go.
So coming up, July 10th, we are helping out with the 6th annual Interfaith Eid celebration. More information on that will be coming soon.
It's gonna be here?
Yeah, well, I don't want to steal the
6:30.
thunder, so.
Yeah.
Yes,
some
it's
Monday.
on Monday this year, but Fatma will be up to talk more about that. And then we have a meet the candidates. We have
At least
mostly,
9 or 10.
Yeah.
All of the candidates. So it's a really good showing and we hope you all can come out. It's going to be at Spider Kelly's July 19th at 7 p.m.
yeah. And then we are having a AYD Nats Park night. So the tickets just went on sale. If you check our Facebook page, the link to the Blue is on there. If you have any more questions, again, come see Tinley or I. Tickets are $9, which I would say is a pretty good deal. And then we have AYD Donuts and Donate Clothing Drive. I'm going to pass it over to Tinley.
Yes, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this. We're partnering with the USA Clothing Drive for this event. So if you have any just like piles of clothing from your spring cleaning that are like still laying around your house somewhere, bring it to Arlington Central Library on July 29th. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. till 1:30 p.m. We're going to be in the Quincy room, but we're going to try and post some people outside in the back parking lot and make sure that your gently used garments or linens are tightly secured in a plastic trash bag. There's more info on what can and cannot be donated on the Facebook event page, and we'll be posting about it on social media soon as well.
Yeah, and for these clothes, if they have a hole in them, if they're like, slightly used, you wouldn't donate them to Goodwill or a local community closet. Those are the type of fabrics we're looking for because the organization we partner with recycles the fabric.
So point on that, actually, we got clarification today that it's both. They will take items to recycle and also donate. So if you have things that don't seem like they're up to like donating level, they will also recycle those.
All right. And then we are finalizing our campaign plan. We are waiting for a couple of our partners to finalize theirs before we release ours. We will be working closely, of course, with Beyond Arlington to make sure that we get every single Democrat we can in the Commonwealth of Virginia elected, so we can take back the General Assembly and we can get to work on advancing our agenda for all of Virginians.
And just one final note, if you are really interested in coming and canvassing with us this fall, like talk to me or Brian afterwards. We can use all the volunteers that we can. So, yeah.
All right, other than that, we'll pass it back to Steve.
Thank you, AYK, and welcome up Outreach.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me. We have, next slide, please. Oh, I don't like, oh, here it is. Okay. First, order of business is we are going to vote on Zach Linick. Zach, you want to stand up? Where is he? There he is. Zach is going to be leading our festival. So I'm not familiar with the parliamentary procedure. So Steve, you want to?
So appointed members are nominated by the full committee. All those in favor of Zach Lennick for our head of festivals and farmers markets, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, so I'm just going to talk about our recent events. We were also very busy in the month of June. We had our Juneteenth celebration at the Arlington History Museum on 17th. The Arlington Dems had a table at the 25th annual Columbia Pike Blues Festival. I hope you all went. It was very fun. And thank you to CPP for putting that together. June 18th was the Arlington Dems Disabilities Caucus meeting. 21st was a business caucus participation in government affairs, economic development committee of the Arlington Chamber of Commerce. The 24th was the Arl Dems participation in the Women's March. And the 25th was the Labor Caucus participation in the courthouse for Starbucks. Okay, so next, we're gonna have Fatima talk about Eid, which is this Monday, so clear your plans.
Okay, I'm gonna be brief, because I know you guys are kind of getting towards the end. We all want to go home, but this is important. It's that time of year again, and it is time for the Arlington Dems 6th annual Interfaith Eid celebration. Yes, we are doing this for the 6th annual year. Why is this important? This is an important event because it's not just about Eid, which is a Muslim holiday, but it's really it's a celebration that brings together different faith traditions to find their commonalities and to really interact with their neighbors. And it's a great networking opportunity for everybody. Plus, did I say there'd be food? Okay. Maybe that'll get your attention. We are going to have, as we have in every previous year, we're going to, one of the things that we do at the Eid celebration that's really relevant here is that we support refugees, and Eid is a time of giving. So we're also supporting people that are less fortunate, and refugees certainly fall into that category. As such, the Mosaic group will be catering the buffet as usual. And they are a group of Syrian refugees, which we have supported for the past 6 years. So I'm proud to say that they will once again be cooperating with us. And as Tenley and Bryant said, we will be, this is something that we've done in cooperation with AYDs for the past 6 years too. So anyway, there's so much more to say, so little time. I really hope you can be there. And before I forget, here's the flyer. I've printed out a number of them. If any of you want to take a couple of these and just sort of post them around town in places in your neighborhood that you think where it would be appropriate, I'd really appreciate it. I've got a number of them here. Just come up and see me after the meeting. Thanks so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the vice chair for caucuses in the Outreach and Visibility Committee. My name is Alexandra Ritchie, so I'll just be covering our upcoming events. So we just talked about Eid. We really hope to see all of you there. It's another opportunity for us to have unity, as Fatima was alluding to. Then we also want to highlight this is not our event, but also very important for getting out the democratic and progressive message. Would love to see great participation at the upcoming Network Nova's Women's Summit that's coming up on July 21st to July 23rd at the Hilton McLean Tyson's Corner. Tickets are still available. The next Disability Caucus meeting is coming up on July 16th. That will be held over Zoom. And then there will be a Disability Pride celebration with the Alexandria Dems, Neurodiversity, and our Arlington Dems Women's Caucus. There'll be a co-hosted event, and that'll be July 3rd at Fort Ward Park in Alexandria. Did I say what I said? July 23rd, sorry. And so another way that we really need to support getting our Democrats elected is by writing postcards. And so in addition to the work that we do with Beyond Arlington, we also have Blue Families. And so the next postcard portal is getting kicked off this week. So we'll be supporting Russell Perry for Senate candidate for the 31st, Danica Rome. Oh, sorry. That's Michael Vegan. Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
Thanks for that correction. Last minute group text, trying to get the information the other day. So Joshua Cole, we want to definitely get him reelected to the House to Gel, sorry, 60.
I didn't realize I put Josh.
But, oh, Joshua, okay. All right, and sorry again, so correction on Keegan's for the 97th and Kimberly Pope Adams for the 92nd House District. So this is the URL, and this will be going out in emails if you want to sign up, and you can also find the back if you want more information on how to get the postcards.
That's it.
Okay.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I would like to thank you for Aneth for your beautiful presentation, and also his final takeaway was that we need to go to areas of people of color because they're the ones that vote Democrat, and that's what outreach, that's what we do. And I just want to thank you for doing that. And I hope we can make a good effort, better effort in the future for reaching out to communities of color because they're the ones that vote Democratic when we need to get them to come out and vote for us. Thank you.
I always forget something. I just wanted to say really quickly how much I really appreciate the comms team coming together to help me put together, our team put together this Eid celebration. They put together this wonderful a flyer. Thank you. I was going to call it a banner, but I don't know the difference. So one, I guess, is one is for electronic and the other one's for print. But isn't this gorgeous? I mean, please give them a hand. I thought they were amazing. Thank you.
Voter support.
I am Kevin McCaffrey. I'm the voter support chair. I've spared you from hearing me in my one-liners for far too long. So I'm back. The primaries happened. As we get ready for fall, I'll be back in action, pulling a lot of you in for various volunteer tasks. Much like Precinct Ops, you know, we're getting in the home stretch. So I don't have a lot to say. I'm not really actively recruiting volunteers at the moment, but if you're interested, please let me know. We will be doing the early voting poll greeting. We'll be doing the rides to the polls. We'll be doing, we're in the process of getting some voters registration efforts planned. One thing to note is always looking for that special volunteer wants to take on a little bit more duty. And we can match your skills and interests. One thing in particular, we've been trying to transition our rides to the polls coordination. I know a lot of folks in DC are very good at coordination type work. So we do it for a living. So please think about that, and I'll happy to tell you more. As we transition that, the team for rides to polls have graciously agreed to continue on for this fall, but we want to replace them, so we want to start transitioning this year. So talk to me if that sounds like something you're interested in to help coordinate all of our volunteer drivers, get the folks to the polls. Questions? Okay, that's it for me. Thanks.
And last but not least, the big focus of our year this year is going to be Beyond Arlington.
My ears have been burning all night. You want to reach me, just drop me a line at beyond@arlingtondemocrats.org. So now that the primaries are over, we can get involved in a lot more races. We don't get involved in contested primaries. As Barbara and Alfonso have made clear, control of the General Assembly is at stake this year, and that is both the state Senate, which remember that's up only every 4 years, and of the House of Delegates, and perhaps the fate of this microphone. I've got a loud topic all here. And of course, Governor Youngkin has national ambitions, whether at the top of the ticket or the bottom of the ticket. And if he gains control of the General Assembly, not only are we looking at unbridled Republican policies in this state, and I don't need to tell this audience what that means, We also mean that Glenn Youngkin is able to pitch himself as the future of the Republican Party, and we don't want that. So I've divided our region into 3 subregions. The first of those I call Greater Manassas. This is the part of Prince William County that you get to by driving west on 66, not driving south on 95. It's like the last part of Northern Virginia before the apple orchards and the horse farms kick in. So this is in western Prince William County. And Danica Rome, who I'm sure many people in this room know, is running for the state Senate. And then we have 2 new districts in Prince William County. Remember, because we had such radical redistricting in this state, there are a lot of districts that are just essentially brand new. And we have 2 very talented young people running, Josh Thomas and Travis Nemhart. And fortunately, they are essentially running a joint campaign with Danica Rome, whose field operations actually being run by Joe Tennant, who I think some people know from Abigail Spanberger's campaign last year. And they have a shared office. You can canvass with lit for both candidates. They're really trying to make it as easy as possible to help out all 3 candidates. Sam Shirazi, who is not here, I believe, is our guru of districts, and he thinks that Josh Thomas's district in Gainesville is the single district most likely to determine control the House of Delegates. So you can canvass on Saturday for Danica and Travis if you guys want to take a picture of that or use the QR code. Feel free. Doesn't take long. And then on Sundays, you can canvass for Danica and Josh. The people of Prince William County are very friendly. Talked to a lot of them over the years. And then Josh Thomas is also doing a phone bank on Tuesdays. So, and then we have Greater Fredericksburg, which is Fredericksburg and Stafford and some of Spotsylvania. And once again, I'm sure many people in this room know Josh Cole, who is running to return to the House of Delegates, this time from the 65th district, which is Fredericksburg and suburban Fredericksburg, if there's such a thing, in Stafford and Spotsylvania counties. The district's a little better than his old one, but he is a very serious Republican opponent. And then we have Joel Griffin, who's running for state Senate in Stafford, Fredericksburg, and Spotsylvania, the 27th district. That's an unusual race because it's a 3-way race. There's an independent running. So your guess is as good as mine on how that's going to work out. But once again, they are working together. And on July 15th, go back. On July 15th, they're going to jointly kick off their post-primary canvass in Fredericksburg. I think that'd be a great kickoff for a lot of people's volunteering this year. Fredericksburg's a beautiful city, lots of good restaurants. It's a fun place to be. My wife's great-great-grandfather fought there in 1862. So it's a great place to go to. Please be there on July 15th on a Saturday at 10 a.m. And we also have a QR code here. Just an hour shot right down 95, which we all know never has any problems with traffic. It's always an easy trip. And then finally, we have what I call Greater Leesburg, and that is that 31st Senate District. I'm sure there will be some people dispute this, but it is arguably the most important race in the state because it is probably the single race that is going to determine control of the state senate. So Josh Thomas might dispute that since he might have the race inside the house. But anyway, this district is mostly in Loudoun County and some of Fauquier County. It is western Loudoun, but also a lot of eastern Loudoun, a lot of areas around Leesburg. It is a very, very competitive district. The Republican nominee is the son of a billionaire. As we all know, sons of billionaires are always the most competent people in the world. But that's a lot of money to go up against. So our candidate is Russia Perry, former CIA agent, former prosecutor, and we'll be hearing from her campaign shortly about what their events look like. Another area of the state we're going to keep an eye on is Western Henrico in the suburbs of Richmond. There we have another very competitive state Senate race, and that is Siobhan Donovan is running for re-election in a district that has become Siobhan Donovan is running for re-election in Western Henrico. She's a very strong opponent with Delegate Skylar Van Valkenburg. And then we also have an open seat House race where our candidate is Susanna Gibson. This is another area that's going to be very important. We don't currently have plans to go there, but we certainly could put plans together to go there. It's really not a long trip, it's about 2 hours. And then some other races that we're going to keep an eye on for phone calls and postcards and other ways of reaching out to voters. Are first of all, probably the other Senate race that will determine control, and that is the 24th district. Monty Mason in the Newport News, Williamsburg area. The 82nd House District in the Petersburg area with Kimberly Pope Adams. And finally, the 97th District in Virginia Beach, Michael Feggins, whom I know is somebody who's got a lot of fans in this room. Blue Families is going to be doing postcards for these races. And we may be doing some phone banking. So I think that's it. All right, well, thank you very much. I'll see you out in the drawings.
Thank you so much, Beyond Darlington. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Campaign season's here. We'll see you soon. Right. I'll go on figure. I made it.